So the idea that we are eternal beings certainly changes the perspective that we might have about pain and suffering here. And also often Jesus said that it's often the people that have it hard in this life, the poor and the downtrodden, that will actually be more rich in their heart towards God and towards spiritual things, because they don't have the money and the resources to continually pursue new entertainments and diversions that keep distracting them from the emptiness and the void that happens to be down there in their heart. Their pain and their circumstances drive them to real answers, which really makes them look up to say, oh God, will you help me? And he does, and he's there. And so Jesus in a way is saying, hey, they're better off than the rich dude who doesn't think he needs God at all, who ends up crossing that transition into eternity and has had his back turned towards God right up to the end, because he can keep paying for little distractions and diversions. And so it certainly changes our perspective on evil and suffering if we consider an eternal perspective. And with that in mind, also another logically consistent reason why God might allow the pain is to get our attention. C.S. Lewis said, it's like, he said, God whispers to us in our pleasures. He speaks to us in our conscience, but he shouts to us in our pain. That pain is God's megaphone to rouse a deaf and sleeping world. And I think there's truth in that, folk. How many people come to realize and turn to look to God in suffering before it's too late? Jesus said, what does a man gain if he gains the whole world, cruises along with a healthy body, lots of money, beautiful family, everything he wants, success, everything, and then he has a heart attack and dies, and he crosses into eternity without God, and he's separated from him forever, and from the joy of his presence forever. He loses. And so with that eternal backdrop, we can say God is doing us a favor by getting our attention sometimes with the pain and the suffering. I would want that. I'm glad that some of the things that have happened in my life, not only for the ways that it's caused my character to grow, I certainly wouldn't want to repeat those things, but I have seen character growth, but also that it's turned my eyes towards eternal matters. That's why I'm doing this, because I think you're eternally important. Another reason I think that is logically consistent, that a good and loving God who knows all and can do what he wants would allow evil, is that only in such a world as this, that is pretty broken and a mess, would we ever have known the true heart of God. And what I mean by that is that I think we could look at the scope and magnitude of the universe, we can look at stars and the trees and the beauty of nature, this symphony of sound and sight, and say, wow, God is smart. And we could say, wow, God is powerful. And he's large and in charge. But we might always wonder, okay, he's powerful, he's large in charge, he's smart, that's cool. But is his heart warm and loving? Is he really good? Is he really good? Does he really love? Or is he just the boss? In such a world as this, as the Bible foretold right from Genesis 3, when it said the seed of the woman one day will crush the serpent's head, the first messianic prophecy, then they're woven all through the whole Old Testament leading up to Messiah Jesus, who's born as a baby, revealing, first of all, that God was willing to be humble, to stoop down, to come as a child, the Son of God, born into our dark, messy, nasty world, born in poverty, born into a world of danger, to go through all the pain and suffering that we go through as humans, to know what it is to be rejected, to know what it is to be slandered and hated without a cause, to know what it is to feel emotional pain and hurt, and then the physical pain of being beaten to a bloody pulp, having his face beaten beyond human recognition as the prophecy foretold, his nails driven through his hands and feet, spit in his face, mocking while he's dying for their sins. He's dying and he's crying out, "Oh Father, forgive them because they don't know what they're doing." And then God judging him for the sins of the world and piling on Jesus the guilt and the shame and the hell and the punishment and the wrath that you and I deserve, and the most vile sins that anyone could think or do were being punished in Jesus, so that God could still be just and righteous and yet extend his loving forgiveness to a sinful humanity. God did reveal his heart in this broken, evil world. And it's right here. Forgive them, Father. That's the heart of God. And it was forever displayed. The glory of the Lord has been revealed, and all mankind has seen it. We never have to ask the question of, again, is God just big and strong and in charge? No, he loves you. He loves me. He wants us to be with him and with his forever family from every tribe and tongue and nation on earth that will enjoy the glory of his kingdom forever when he recreates this world, which it says clearly in the scriptures. Heaven is not about winged babies on clouds and harps and stuff. It's this world being cleansed of all the corruption and crap that we've done to it and made new in a kingdom where there will be no more evil, there will be no more death or dying. It says he will wipe every tear from their eyes, and he will dwell with his people, and they will put away war forever. And it says the wolf will lie down with the lamb, and the leopard and the bear and the calf will play together, and a lion will eat straw like the ox, and a child will lead them all. In his kingdom there will be no more bloodshed. God does hate evil. It's only his patience that's holding back his hand from stopping all this evil right now. The day will come when it's done. The choices have all been made. Character has been revealed, and eternity begins. But check out 2 Peter 3 in the Bible. It says the reason is because God is patient. He's not willing that anybody should perish, but that all should come to repentance. That's why he's holding back his judgment. But he is good. And there are some other reasons I'm sure that I've not covered, or these ones that I did cover could have been covered in greater detail. But I want to ask you, if God does not exist, and all that's here is here because we evolved from some pond scum, and it's just been a series of genetic mistakes along the way, mutations, and here we are, without any overriding purpose or cause. First of all, how do you define evil and suffering? Whose definition are we going to use out of the 6+ some billion people on earth? Secondly, if what is just what's evolved to be, then how would we even say it is evil? It's just what is. And what is your answer to it? What's your solution? So I would need to know your explanation why it exists, and then your solution for what to do about it. But I want to ask you, what are you going to do about the evil and suffering and pain you have caused personally to yourself and others? And what do you think God should do about it? I know what he wants to do. And I know what the blood of Christ paid for. Paid for you to be forgiven forever. So you can live in the presence of God and his people on this earth. Building stuff. Having parties. Learning to love and get to know probably billions of people. And God. It's going to be pretty awesome. And I hope you do. And that's why I'm doing this. Because I really believe it's real. And I don't think you have to check your brain out at the door to be a believer in Jesus Christ. I think it makes sense. And I hope that you will apply maybe the same degree of skepticism to your doubts and to what your presuppositions are about life in the universe as you have applied them to God and maybe keeping you away from God. Thank you.